Hi, I'm Kathy McElhenney with the Jackson Tea Party, and thanks for joining us today. We're here with Jackson Mayor Mike Reina. Mike, how are you today?
Very good. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us.
My pleasure.
Mayor, long before it became the populist movement that it is today, you were one of the founders of the original Jackson Tea Party back in 2006. Why did you feel it was necessary to bring such a movement to Jackson?
Well, I thought everybody needs to be represented. It really didn't matter what your party association was, how you voted in the past. Things would become so out of control. You're losing everything that you fought for years ago for us to have, are being slowly taken away. Whether it's local government, whether it's state or federal, things are changing too rapidly, and it seems like nobody had anything to say about it. It was just everything's being rammed down your throat. And we all turned around, and our slogan was back then was "Had enough." Think independently and move forward. And from there, it just started to go and go and go, and I was just proud to have a little part in it. And it's really refreshing to see this the way it's gone.
That's true. It is definitely a movement to be reckoned with. Mayor, you have a record of over 20 years of service in the Jackson community. You've served as chairman of the Jackson Planning Board, member of the Jackson Economic Development Committee, vice president of the Office of Emergency Management, among other positions. What are the three most significant advances for Jackson that came out of that service, and why?
Well, when you bring a volunteer attitude and mentality to an issue, for whatever the reason, there's nothing political behind it. You have a goal, you have a task at hand, and you apply all your experience to that. The other good thing that comes out of it is people like yourself have a broad base of experience. Unlike you're limited in certain areas. Everybody has their limitations. But to have a plethora of knowledge, a group of people working hard for one common goal, one goal at a time, things happen. And they happen in a good way, because it's not the way you see things done together. You have a group and they say this is what they want. They put forth ideas, they bring them out, and people agree on them reasonably. There's no arguing, there's no partisan politics involved. It's good, clean way of how government should operate. And as far as everything else, is you get the word out on issues that normally would not get out. Because people now go home, talk to their families. Next thing you know, other people want to get involved, and the ball starts to get rolling. And it's always grassroots. It's not infused by lobbyists, any type of money. It's good, old-fashioned, hard work, roll up your sleeves and get involved. It's probably one of the reasons I enjoy being a hands-on elected official. You learn from humble beginnings.
And is that what you have personally taken away from all of those years of service?
What I've taken away from personal years of service is the smiles that came along with it. They say it's a thankless job, hogwash. People always ask, how do you feel about it? You feel good. I mean, you can turn around and get all kinds of people asking you questions, and then they call up and say, thank you very much. So I can't tell you how much you take out of it.
Great. In your 1 year as Jackson Mayor, you've lobbied against COA regulations, and you've fought the state's attempt to allow affordable housing in some communities. Why have you taken these positions?
Well, I'll take that position with a lot of the unfunded mandates. There are half a dozen out there right now that need to be corrected. Again, you are demanding that residents pay these fees. In order for you to continue with goods and services in a town, you have to have some type of rateable. What you're doing with COA is you're extracting that rateable out of there. You turn around and telling me I have to come up with monies to make these payments for this type of housing. But when you look at the regulations and how they were put in, they want it in an urban development. So you have commerce, which means people can go to work. You have transportation, which means you can get people back and forth to work. And then you have water and sewer. We don't meet these criteria. We felt strongly, a lot of us, that you need to go back into the areas that were worn down, that were run down and were abused. All you have to do is put all that money back into that area, and you have a thriving metropolis again. You shouldn't abandon what you have. Just continue to improve on it. You can't go into suburban communities where Jackson's 100 square miles. Where are you going to put all these communities? How are they supposed to get to work? We want to help people. We're not against affordable housing. And that's never been the case. But you have to integrate people. You can't segregate people. You can't just have one portion of town where we happen to have the roads and the infrastructure that can support it and say that's where it's going to be. That's not right. I don't think anybody should be singled out in any part of their life, regardless, race, religion, creed, whatever. And that's what COA does. COA separates. COA mandates. I just can't see spending money and it's going to go down the wrong tube.